The royal hall was built to make everyone feel small. Tall crystal pillars reached toward the ceiling, glowing with soft blue light. Long banners from many alien worlds floated in the air without wind. The floor shined like a mirror, reflecting gold, silver, and colors humans had no names for. This was not just a dinner, it was a historic peace banquet. For the first time in centuries, powerful alien species sat together at one table. Old enemies shared space. Old wars were declared finished. The galaxy was watching. At the center of the hall sat the alien queen. She was calm, elegant, dangerous. Her crown was thin and sharp, made of living metal that shifted slowly. Her eyes were cold and intelligent, missing nothing. Every movement she made was slow and perfect, like she had all the time in the universe. Around her sat generals, rulers, hive leaders, machine minds, and ancient beings who had destroyed worlds before humans even existed. Then there were the humans. They sat far from the center, near the outer tables. No banners, no guards of honor, just a small group of fragile creatures in plain clothing. Most aliens ignored them completely. Some stared with quiet dislike. Humans were known as weak, soft, useful only for labor, data work, or service roles. They were not feared. They were not respected. The queen raised her hand slightly. Music filled the hall, slow, smooth, and ceremonial. Alien servants approached, carrying the ceremonial unity dish. It was rare, sacred, symbolic. It was said that no queen had eaten this dish unless peace was real. The plate was placed before her. The food looked beautiful, carefully shaped, colored with rare spices from many worlds. Steam rose gently, carrying a sweet, unfamiliar smell. The queen lifted her fork. Guards relaxed their stance. Smiles appeared. Some leaders leaned back in their seats. Peace was about to be sealed. Then, a chair moved. The sound was small, almost nothing, but in that moment, it felt loud. A human man stood up. He was average. No armor, no rank marks, dark hair, tired eyes. He had been sitting quietly the entire time, unnoticed like furniture. His name was Ethan. No one knew it yet. Took one step forward. Music stopped. A few aliens turned their heads, confused. Others frowned. The human spoke. His voice was clear, not loud but strong enough to cut through the silence. "Your Majesty," he said, "do not eat that food." For one heartbeat, no one reacted. Then the hall froze. Absolute silence. Forks stopped in midair. Breathing slowed. Eyes widened. Guards snapped to action. Weapons rose. Energy blades hummed. Targeting lights locked onto the human's chest and head. Some aliens gasped. Others laughed. "A human?" Someone whispered. "Did he just speak? Is this a joke?" The queen did not move. Her hand remained hovering above the plate. The fork trembled slightly, not from fear, but from surprise. Her eyes slowly shifted from the food to the human. They were cold, sharp, ancient. The human did not move. He could feel the weapons pointed at him. He could feel death standing very close. Still, he stood straight. The queen studied him for a long moment. The hall waited. Then she spoke. Her voice was soft, but it filled the entire room. "Explain," she said. The guards tightened their grip. The queen tilted her head slightly. "Before you die," the words fell like a blade. Every alien in the hall expected the human to beg, to panic, to fall to his knees. But Ethan did not. He swallowed once, and then he took another step forward. The queen's eyes narrowed. The fate of the galaxy now balanced on a single sentence. The silence did not break. It grew heavier. Weapons stayed aimed at the human's chest. One wrong breath, and he would be gone. The guards waited only for a signal from the queen. Ethan felt the pressure in the air. His heart was beating fast, but his face remained calm. Humans had learned long ago how to stay still when danger stood close. The queen leaned back slightly in her throne. "Speak," she said. "You have earned seconds, not mercy." Ethan nodded once. "I work in logistics," he said. "Food systems, supply chains, quality control." A few aliens laughed quietly. A servant, one general muttered. Even worse, another replied. A human servant, Ethan ignored them. Was assigned to review banquet preparation, he continued. Not to judge taste. Only safety. An alien scientist raised a clawed hand. Our scanners examined every molecule, the scientist said proudly. This food is perfect. Yes, Ethan replied. Perfect for you. That caught attention. The queen's fingers tightened slightly on the arm of her throne. What does that mean? She asked. Ethan took a slow breath. Humans don't rely only on scanners, he said. We never did. Our bodies learn to notice small changes. Smell, texture, heat, patterns. He pointed carefully toward the plate, never touching it. The steam is wrong, he said. Too smooth, too steady. Real heat does not rise like that. Murmurs spread through the hall. That is nonsense, an alien noble said. Steam is steam. Ethan shook his head. No, he said. Not always, he continued, his voice steady now. The color is correct. The smell is correct. The taste would be correct too. That is the problem. Some laughter returned, nervous and unsure. The queen raised her hand. Silence returned instantly. You claim danger, she said, yet my best minds say otherwise. Yes, Ethan answered, because this was designed for your minds, not mine. That made several aliens shift in their seats. Ethan looked directly at the queen for the first time. Your Majesty, he said, this is not poison. Gasps echoed through the hall. The guards hesitated. Poison kills, Ethan continued. This does not. It changes. The queen's eyes sharpened. Changes what? She asked. Ethan paused. Decision-making, he said. Loyalty. Emotional control. An alien warlord stood abruptly. That is impossible. Not impossible, Ethan replied. Just subtle. He explained slowly, using simple words. The dish contains a layered compound. Layer is harmless alone. Together, they react inside the body. The scientist scoffed. Our scans would miss it, Ethan finished, because it only activates after digestion begins. When body chemistry adjusts, the queen's gaze flicked briefly to her advisors. They did not speak. Who would dare do this? She asked quietly. Someone who wants control without war. The hall grew cold. Someone who wants the queen alive, he added, but no longer fully herself. Silence returned, deeper than before. The queen stood. What? Every alien froze. She stepped down from her throne and walked slowly toward the table. She stopped inches from the plate. Ethan held his breath. The queen turned slightly. Bring the test unit, she commanded. A mechanical drone was rolled forward. It was a royal servant machine, designed to mimic organic digestion. The dish was placed inside it. The machine consumed the food. For a moment, nothing happened. Soft laughter began again. Then the drone paused. Its lights flickered. Its posture changed. Its eyes dimmed. The machine turned toward the queen and spoke in a flat voice, waiting instruction. Every smile vanished. The queen raised her hand. Stand down, she ordered. The machine did not move. Fear spread through the hall. The queen's voice hardened. Deactivate, the machine only repeated. Awaiting instruction? The queen slowly looked at Ethan. The guards lowered their weapons just a little. The plate was pushed away from the queen. And for the first time that night, the galaxy began to understand. The human had not interrupted the feast. He had stopped a silent takeover. The royal hall was no longer calm. Whispers spread like fire. Chairs scraped the floor as alien leaders shifted uneasily. Guards tightened their formation around the queen. Weapons no longer pointed at the human, but outward toward everyone else. The machine still stood in the center of the hall, motionless, obedient, waiting. The queen raised her hand again. Shut it down, she commanded. Technicians rushed forward, cables connected, power commands were sent. Nothing happened. The machine repeated the same words again and again, awaiting instruction. Fear touched even the strongest beings in the room, as the queen turned slowly toward the scientists. You told me this was safe, she said. No anger, no shouting. That was worse. The lead scientist swallowed. Our scans showed no toxins, he said weakly. No foreign control systems. Ethan stepped forward carefully. It isn't foreign, he said. That's why you missed it. The Queen gestured for him to continue. It copies your own biology, Ethan explained. It hides inside familiar systems. It doesn't fight the mind, it guides it. An alien elder hissed softly. Like a whisper, the elder said. Yes, Ethan replied. A whisper that sounds like your own thoughts. The Queen closed her eyes for a brief moment. Then she opened them. Who gains from this, she asked. No one answered. Every allied species present had sworn loyalty. Every one of them had eaten from shared tables before. Ethan spoke again. The dish was prepared by many hands, he said, but the final alteration happened late. After inspections, a noble from the Valkyrie Union shifted uncomfortably. The Queen noticed, locked onto him. Your people handled the final seasoning, she said calmly. The noble straightened. Only flavor adjustments, he said quickly. Symbolic, traditional. Ethan tilted his head. The compound bonds with ceremonial spices, he said. It needs tradition to hide. Silence crushed the hall. The noble's skin changed color, a sign of fear. That proves nothing, shouted. The Queen raised one finger. The guards seized him instantly. He screamed as he was dragged forward. I was following orders, he cried. We all were. The Queen stepped closer. Whose orders? She asked. The noble's body trembled. A council, he whispered. Not one species. Many. Shock spread through the room. Quiet takeover. No war. No invasion. Just control. The Queen turned back to Ethan. If I had eaten, she asked, what would have happened. Ethan answered honestly. You would still rule, he said. But your choices would change. Slowly. Peace would favor certain worlds. Laws would shift. Trust would bend. He paused, and no one would notice. Not even you. The Queen stared at the plate. Then she pushed it away completely. Destroy it, she commanded. The dish was sealed inside a containment field. The machine was finally disabled, but only after heavy force. The Queen returned to her throne. She sat, but she did not relax. Human, she said. Ethan stepped forward again. You noticed what my empire could not? She said. Why? Ethan thought carefully. Because humans learn to survive without power, he said. When you don't control the world, you learn to read it. The Queen studied him. You risked death, she said. For what? Ethan answered simply, because ignoring danger never saved anyone. The hall remained silent. Then the Queen stood again. She faced the gathered leaders. Tonight, she said, peace almost became chains. She turned toward the humans. Tonight, one human spoke when silence was easier. She paused. From this moment forward, humans will no longer sit at the edge of this empire. Gasps echoed. The Queen looked at Ethan one final time. You will remain, she said. You will advise. Ethan lowered his head. I'm not important, he said. The Queen replied without hesitation. That is why you are. The hall stood in stunned silence. The galaxy had changed direction, not by force, not by war, but by one human who refused to stay quiet. The royal hall did not return to celebration. Music did not resume. Smiles did not return. The peace banquet was still alive but wounded. The Queen remained seated on her throne, her posture straight, her expression unreadable. Around her, guards moved into tighter positions. Doors sealed with low metallic sounds. No one was allowed to leave. Ethan stood near the center of the hall, suddenly very aware of how small he was. Eyes watched him from every direction. Some were thankful, some were angry, some were calculating. Truth had been spoken, and truth always created enemies. The Queen lifted her hand. Begin a full investigation, she ordered. Every species present, every delegate. No exception. Murmurs broke out. This is an insult. We came in peace. Unacceptable. The Queen's voice cut through them. Peace that requires silence is not peace, she said. The protests stopped. Ethan felt a quiet chill. He had expected danger from one enemy. He had not expected it from many. Two guards approached him. For your safety, one said. Ethan nodded and followed. As they walked, alien leaders whispered behind them. A human should not be this visible. He embarrassed us. He shifted power. Ethan heard it all. The guards led him into a side chamber plane, cold and silent. The door closed. Ethan exhaled for the first time in minutes. He sat, then the lights flickered. Ethan looked up. The door opened. Again, but this time it was not guards. It was the Queen. She entered alone. Ethan stood instantly. "You do not need to rise," she said. She studied him closely, not as a ruler, but as a person. "Do you know what you have done?" she asked. Ethan hesitated. "I stopped something bad," he said. The Queen almost smiled. "You shattered invisible alliances," she said. "You exposed weakness. You forced truth into a room built on appearances." She walked slowly around him. "Some will thank you," she continued. "Others will never forgive you." Ethan nodded. "I understand." The Queen stopped in front of him. "You will be targeted," she said plainly. "Not today, not openly, but quietly." Ethan met her gaze. "I know," he said. That answer surprised her. "Then why speak?" she asked again. Ethan thought for a moment. "Because someone had to," he said. And everyone else was pretending not to see. Silence filled the room. The Queen turned away. "You will not be given a title," she said. "Titles attract knives." She paused. "But you will be protected." She looked back at him. "As much as I can protect you." Ethan accepted this with a nod. Outside the chamber, the investigation moved quickly. Hidden data surfaced. Private messages. Encrypted plans. Not all conspirators were caught, but enough were exposed. Trust cracked. Alliances shifted. That night, several powerful delegates were removed from the hall in chains. Others left under guard. The banquet ended without celebration. The galaxy would hear many versions of what happened, but not all of them would be true. Later, Ethan stood alone on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Lights stretched endlessly below. The Queen joined him again, standing beside him in silence. "Your species is dangerous," she said suddenly. Ethan looked at her. "Because we are strong?" he asked. "No," she replied. "Because you notice." She gestured to the city. Empires fall when they stop seeing small things. Ethan said nothing. The Queen continued. "Today you saved my life," she said. "Tomorrow, others will try to erase you." She turned to face him. "Would you still speak if it meant death?" Ethan did not answer right away. He looked out over the city. "Yes," he said quietly. Because silence would mean it was already too late. The Queen watched him for a long time. Then she gave a rare command. "Stay near me," she said. "Not as a servant. It's a warning." Ethan understood. He had not gained power. He had gained responsibility, and responsibility was heavier than any crown. Far below, unseen eyes watched the balcony. Not all enemies had been exposed. Some had learned a dangerous lesson. Human could not be ignored. Morning light touched the palace slowly. Capital city below the royal spires woke in silence. News had not yet spread, but tension filled the air. Guards stood on every level. Ships waited in orbit, engines warm, ready for orders. Inside the grand hall, the Queen summoned the remaining delegates. This time there was no music, no celebration, it's only truth. Ethan stood near the edge of the room, where humans always stood. He wore the same plain clothes. No marks, no honor symbols. But eyes followed him now, not with laughter, with caution, with curiosity. The Queen entered. Everyone rose. She did not waste time. "Last night," she said, "this empire was almost taken without a single weapon." Murmurs began.
Raised her hands.
Silence returned. "Control is quieter than conquest," she continued, "and more dangerous." She turned slightly toward Ethan. One human saw what we did not. Gasps moved through the hall. Some leaders shifted uncomfortably. "He was not trained for war," the Queen said. "He held no rank. He had no power." She paused. He still spoke. The Queen stepped down from her throne. This alone shocked the hall. She walked until she stood beside Ethan. He did not move. "You judged humans by their weakness," she said to the gathered leaders. "You were wrong." Some aliens looked away. Others watched closely. "Humans survive without strength," the Queen said. "Without claws, without armor." She looked around the hall. "They survive by attention." The Queen turned fully toward Ethan. "You risked your life," she said. "You gained nothing. Ethan answered quietly. I didn't think about gain. The Queen nodded. That, she said, is why your voice mattered. She faced the hall again. From this day forward, she declared, humans will be placed in advisory positions across this empire. Shock hit like a wave. Not as rulers, she continued. Not as soldiers. She looked directly at the generals. But as watchers. Silence. Humans will be present where decisions are made, she said, because they see what comfort hides. A military leader stood suddenly. This is dangerous, he argued. You place too much trust, the Queen cut him off. Trust was abused last night, she said, by those who believed they were unseen. The leader sat slowly. The Queen's voice softened. This is not a reward, she said. It is a responsibility. She turned once more to Ethan. You will return to your life, she said. No title, no throne. Ethan nodded. That is enough, he said. The Queen almost smiled. Later, as the hall emptied, Ethan prepared to leave the palace. A human delegate approached him quietly. You changed everything, the delegate said. Ethan shook his head. No, he replied. I just spoke. Outside, the city moved again. Ships departed, messages spread, alliances adjusted. Across the galaxy, leaders would hear the story. Some would fear humans, some would seek them, others would try to silence them. Ethan looked up at the palace one last time, felt no pride, only a quiet weight. He understood now. Humans were no longer invisible, and that meant danger. Behind him, the Queen watched from a balcony. She did not wave. She did not call out. She simply observed, because she understood something now. The smallest voice in the room could stop an empire from falling, and sometimes, that voice belonged to a human. The galaxy did not change in one loud moment. It changed quietly. News spread from system to system, from palace to outpost, from ruler to worker. The official reports were careful, polite, controlled, but the truth moved faster than reports ever could. A human had stopped the Queen from eating. A human had seen what an empire could not. Across alien worlds, reactions were mixed. Some laughed. Some denied it. Some felt fear for the first time. On the human homeworld, no celebrations were held. No statues were built. Ethan's name was not spoken in public. That was exactly how he wanted it. Ethan returned to his old work. Food systems, supply routes, quiet inspections. His life looked the same from the outside, but it was not. He noticed the changes. Meetings paused when he entered. Questions were directed toward him. Decisions waited for his silence or his concern. Humans were still not powerful, but they were no longer ignored. One evening, weeks later, the Queen stood alone in her private chamber. The ceremonial plate had been sealed away, locked behind layers of protection. She looked at it often, not because it frightened her, but because it reminded her how close she had come to losing herself. A soft chime sounded. Enter, she said. Ethan stepped inside. He had not been summoned often, only when something felt wrong. The Queen gestured toward a small table. Sit, she said. They did. Silence stretched between them. Do you regret it? She asked suddenly. Ethan understood the question. No, he said, but I understand the cost. The Queen nodded. Power makes blindness comfortable, she said. Your kind never had that comfort. Ethan thought for a moment. We learn to survive without control, he said. It teaches awareness. The Queen studied him. Others are watching you, she said, some with respect, some with anger. I know, Ethan replied. She leaned forward slightly. If the moment comes again, she asked, will you speak? Ethan did not answer right away. He remembered the silence. Down the weapons. The eyes waiting for him to fail. Yes, he said. Even if no one listens, the Queen stood. So be it, she said. Ethan left the chamber quietly. Outside, life continued. Ships launched, markets opened, councils argued. But something had changed at the center of it all. In rooms where humans once stood quietly, someone now asked, what do they see? And sometimes, a human answered. Years later, long after Ethan had faded into history, young alien leaders studied the event. They argued about technology, about politics, about betrayal, but one lesson always remained. The fall of an empire does not begin with attack. It begins with silence. And the survival of an empire begins when someone breaks it. The final words recorded in the Queen's private archive were simple. On the day power failed, tension saved us. The galaxy never forgot that day, because it learned something dangerous. Humans did not conquer worlds. They did not rule empires. They noticed what others missed. And when a human says, "Do not eat that," the wise now pause. Because silence once almost destroyed everything. One human refused to let it happen.